fresh starts, new beginnings. And as we talked about last week, the power of choice. Now, before I get back into our pitching compass program, I just wanted everyone to think about this. Every single day, you have a choice on what you do. I love Mondays the most because it's kind of like a clean slate. Everyone has the case of I'll start it on Monday. So what did you promise yourself that you'd start on Monday? Right? Every time, whether it's exercise, diet, a new workout routine, a new thing that you're going to do in your business, does anyone ever really say, hey, I'm going to start that on Wednesday or Friday? No, you say, I'm going to start it on Monday. So I find Mondays are a really precious day to protect, be smart, be inspired, and to take action. Because the biggest thing that we all need in this market is momentum, right? And momentum comes through consistency. And then you take your momentum and you take your consistency, you turn it into momentum, and then you take groups like this and the information you learn and you turn it into multipliers, right? It is a very simple formula to grow. You all, I find, are the few agents that are really investing in your skills, and over time, strategy outperforms talent, right? Think about that. If you have a plan and a strategy, you will outperform the people that are just doing their business because they're really good at Rutgers Park, right? It's like if you think about it in the basketball analogy. So I'll give you a quick recap on where we were last time. We were talking about how to build rapport with anyone literally in 5 minutes, right? By asking about their motivations and goals, because when you come to sell your home, there's a reason you decided to sell your home and something you wanted out of it. So please remove the idea that you know what somebody wants without asking them. Who here recently spoke to somebody and went into an appointment and thought one thing and left with something completely different? All of us, right? So write this down. The number one secret to winning every pitch is actually knowing what the other people want. That is the secret. So let me show you how this works if you're a human being. Anytime you go somewhere, there's a reason you went there, something you wanted it to be like, a past disappointment that you don't want to repeat. So that'll be apprehensive. That will have to be addressed or addressed in the decision-making process, and a concern of making the wrong decision, right? And if somebody can answer all 4 of those things for you, you ever go meet a great salesperson that just asks a lot of questions and just answers exactly what you want? And at the end, they say, do you have any other questions? And you're like, no. And they're like, would you like to move forward? And you awkwardly pause and you're trying to figure out how you don't have any more questions. And you're like, yeah, I'll take it. Has that hit yes if that's ever happened to you? And the reason that is those are the 4 psychological needs that need to be addressed to make a decision. See, when we work with people on specifically their pitches and then they lose, my first question is, did you ask all the building rapport questions, which is that whole Med C, motivations, expectations, disappointments, concerns. Then the next question is, did you only speak about those things? Yes. Did you add anything on that was not part of what they wanted that you felt that they just should know? And the answer when people lose, I see Corey smiling, always is yes. Well, I felt they should know about concierge. And I'm like, but did they ask you for it? Did they tell? No, but they should be. You can't tell people what they should or should not do. And the more money people have, the more of a turnoff it is. I remember I bought a car recently, and it was literally, I kid you not, maybe a 8-minute conversation with the guy. I went in, I asked the guy over the phone. He didn't have what I wanted. He has a car coming in. I said, is there something similar I could look at? He said, sure. I go in there and I go in the car and he's like, so what's most important to you? I was like, I don't know if you want to sit in the car, but I want to see how loud the music goes. And now he looked at me, right? Now, mind you, I'm at a Porsche dealership where people go there for car engines, right? I don't think people go there to buy those cars because of how loud the sound system goes and the way that they look. That's abnormal. I like the way the car looks. I wanted to see what the sound system was like because I looked at another car and like I felt my AirPods went louder. And it was a 6,000 pound vehicle, which is eligible for very good tax benefits. So the guy went and he went through this the thing. He says, "Okay, what else do you want to know about?" I asked him a few other questions. He says, "Great. Do you have any other questions?" I go, "No, I'm good." And then I went through. He answered all my questions about financing, everything else. Again, he never said one thing about anything else. And then I asked him, "What should I know about from other people?" And then he went through a couple different things. He didn't vomit information. And in less than 20 minutes, I bought a car and I left and I had all the paperwork and everything done. And he said, "You're the most interesting client I've ever had." And I said, "You're a very good salesperson," because he answered all those questions. I was fine. I didn't need to know anything else. So people are the same way. So when you go in to sell somebody's house, what are the three things that people care about? Price, marketing, and communication. That's it. So let's have a little bit of fun here. Deborah likes to call this stump the Shah, but you could tell me anything that a seller would say to you, and I could turn it back to those three things. This is what's called level shifting, right? So if somebody says to you, like, I just want to know how you're going to get the most money for my house. I just want to know how you're going to have the most exposure for my home, right? How are you going to communicate with me? So what are the other things? Somebody unmute themselves. You can start zinging lines at me today. I'll give you guys a few ones and I'll show you guys how to do this so that there's a very specific process I want you to go through in this. So who wants to go first? And mind you, if you're unrealistic, and you could say that too, I'll tell you what I would say to somebody.
I'll go. Margie McShane.
I was hoping that you'd unmute yourself.
Well, I have to admit, I was actually looking at my phone, so I hope I'm answering or asking the right question because I kind of missed a little bit. But we just went, my partner and I just went on a listing presentation this last week. And I know the person, it's an old client of mine. Want to get the most for my house. The house is a little choppy. I sold it to her in 1999. There was so much stuff and it just needed a lot. And I do shoot from the hip, and I know that we overwhelmed her. And
so watch this. Ready?
Go ahead.
So the part that we want to get to, we'll go through. Like the nice part is we have this entire month to do this. I will address every horrible scenario that you have to deal with. We can talk about hoarders, people that want to put stuff in storage, people that are unreal. Like we'll send a questionnaire, and you can put all of those things in there. And on a session, I'll rapid fire answer them. We'll cut them up into little video clips and you'll have them forever. Does that sound good?
Yep. So I know I'm not answering the question right.
No, you asked the first part, right? She said, "I only care about what? The price?"
The price.
Okay, great. So we're learning this from David, right? Echoing back. So Margie, what I hear is most important to you is you want to know the exact written marketing plan that I will use to get you the best price.
Yes.
Is there anything else important to you in the process, like communication?
I just want to make it easy on me.
Got it. And so would having a written communication plan work for you where the conversations and the information will be predictable to you versus reactive?
Yes.
Great. So the two most important things to you are a clear understanding of the written marketing plan on how I'll get you the best price, and a written communication plan. So our ongoing service becomes predictable versus you have to wonder when you're going to hear from your agent again next.
Yep.
Thank you. Now, then I would flip it and I'd say, which one would you feel more comfortable, or which one would you like going through first? Do you want to go through a written marketing plan or the written communication plan? Can we all do this? This is where you all nod your head yes.
Yes.
This is so easy. Just write these words down. What I hear is most important to you is. The second line, say the written marketing plan. Yeah, great. Additionally, is there anything else important to you besides a written marketing plan? And I like adding in such as communication and just one thing. Oh yeah, I want to know communication. Because how many agents actually have a written communication plan? None.
Oh, we use yours now.
I know you do. You and Irene are doers. So, the reality is so many people come from like this scarcity mindset. And when you come from fear, you make stupid, irrational decisions, right? Who's ever done something dumb because they've been afraid? I'll raise my hand. Right? So this is what happens. You're afraid if you tell your clients that you have a communication plan that is structured, that they're not going to want to hire you. And the last time I checked, that's like trying to find a TV show, wondering what time it's going to be on next week. It is a terrible idea. People like predictability, right? And the people that don't like predictability generally are bad clients, or you better be making so much money off of them, you don't care. Right? There has to be like something in that transaction that's unique that will propel you forward, whether it's financially, a neighborhood, their network. Does that make sense to everybody? So those are the three things. One more person. Does anyone else want to add something in here of what a client says? Anybody?
I'll go, Chirag.
Oh, good.
It's Heidi. I'm off video.
Hello.
Hey, so, okay. This is my mother's house, and she's been here for 50 years. I want you to tell us exactly what we can get for it without doing anything to it. However, there's a leak upstairs, and it's sort of repaired, but we just don't use the water in the bathroom. And we just want to sell it as is.
Great. So what I hear is most important to you is the exact plan that I'll use to maximize the equity in your home in its current condition.
Right.
Great. And, just so we're clear on the same page, I hear that you don't want to do any repairs. Do you want me just to give you the number if some suggested repairs were to be done to see what potential equity that would unlock for you that potentially could make a difference?
Sure.
If they said no, you could say no problem.
Okay. They said no. So, well, actually, they're going to do a couple of things, but it's,
See, you could not have had a better example for this. This is where all people go wrong. Well, why wouldn't they want to do it? Who cares? Who cares? People don't make sense. Emotions don't make sense. They're not based on logic, right? They're not based on logic. So you need to stop trying to be the hero. People don't want to be rescued all the time. Oh, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Listen, that somebody could have had the worst memories of their life in that house, and the idea of putting a single dollar into it makes them sick to their stomach. People don't care. Some people put money into a house and they'll never touch it because they put all this money in. Other people would say, great, it's a financial investment. Let's tear the thing down and build a new one. You recently lost a pitch because of this. Yeah. Listen, meet them where they are means understanding. David has something to say. Hold on. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, it's so easy. What Chirag is talking about here is how easy it is for us to make assumptions about what's best for them. But we can only see it from our point of view. We can't necessarily see it from their point of view. And so understanding what it is they really want and giving that to them is the way to create the greatest satisfaction in their mind.
Do you know how good it feels just to be listened to and understood? I believe that people like being here and working with us as a group because we actually understand what agents go through every day. I think adult learning theory in real estate's stupid. It's binary, and real estate's filled with emotions, your emotions and the client's emotions. Real estate, do you know what no one talks about in real estate? You want me to just tell you on a quick side note? And this is just permission to be vulnerable and honest with all of you. If you've ever had any issues as a child or a person growing up, this is the worst business that makes you deal with it every day, right? If you've ever had a fear of rejection, you have to deal with that every day. If you've always wanted everyone to like you, you have to do that every day. If you don't like being confrontational or really, in a simple word, sharing a different opinion to everyone else, you have to deal with that every other day. If you can't take criticism well, you have to deal with that every other day. We are constantly managing our own emotions and our own stuff, right? And like, you can go to therapists and people, I'm not a doctor and I'm not saying this in any critical way, but you have to understand who you are to understand how to approach this business. And having a process like this avoids all of those things that you still have to deal with. If someone doesn't say, like, this is not what I want, great. So what I hear is most important to you is this. Yes. Would you have any interest in knowing the other side of it? No, absolutely not. Okay, great, Stephen. I'll never talk about it. Keep going. Right, Kim, you have a question.
Yes, thank you. So I had a pitch. Well, so I live in New York City and I've sold a lot in the building that I live in. And there's a guy that I've known for years and he's been talking to me about selling his apartment. And he said, "Oh, can you meet me, tomorrow morning in the lobby?" And we were chatting and he said to me, so it wasn't really a formal pitch, I like with a pitch book and everything. And kind of towards the end, he says to me, "Oh, what are the closing costs?" And I had them on my phone. So I said, "Let me send you the closing cost sheet." And he looks at it and he says, "Okay, so you get 6%." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, what if I end up bringing the buyer?" So I said, it's 6%. He said, what about if the person doesn't have a broker?" He never asked me to discount, but I feel like that's what he was asking for. And so I want to know how to
You all have the best questions today. It's like, this is wonderful.
wait,
So,
and I
thank
just
you.
want to say, so we took the elevator when we were done back upstairs, at each of our respective apartments. And he says to me, "Oh, is so-and-so still a broker?" Another woman who used to live in my building. I said, "I don't know. I haven't talked to her in years." He says, "Okay, thank you." And I left and I said, he wanted me to say I would discount it, but I didn't. So what do you do with that?
Okay, number one, if you go somewhere, here, hold on one second. Let's see. Bear with me here. I'm doing this in like real time. You all see my screen? The Cadillac. So look at this, from 76,000 as shown $102,000, right? So the first question that you're going to ask is, what's the difference in the $76,000 model and the $102,000 model, correct? Kim?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, and so people that don't understand how real estate works can just be asking a simple set of questions, right? And then the question you could ask them at the end of it when answering their questions is, what are your expectations around these scenarios? You should write that one down. What are your expectations around these scenarios? And see what they expect. Well, I would expect this. People will tell you if you ask them.
What do you mean by what do you expect in this scenario? I don't even
They're going to say,
understand
well, what happens if you bring a buyer? Great. When I bring a buyer, it's still the same commission and everything else. Did you have a different expectation, or is that your same expectation, right? See what they say.
Okay.
And that's when someone that's looking for a discount will flat out say they want a discount.
Okay.
But just because people ask those questions, don't assume that they all want money off. What I found doing sales for the last 15 years is when people ask these questions because of our past disappointments, right? And people cutting commissions, we get defensive, we can get combative, we can start telling people. And many times the people just, it's just simple question. If you haven't sold real estate, you're kind of interested in how this works.
Okay, because I didn't tell him I would do discounted, and I did. I just answered the questions,
Then you did a
and I
perfect
didn't get
job.
emotional.
No, that's not you.
But when
You're
I
direct and
returned
to
to
the
my
point.
apartment, I kept thinking he wanted me to say I was going to do it less. Someone's asking, did I get the listing? I don't. It doesn't work like. I mean, I don't know who that is, but I've never gone in, and it's very rare that someone's like, you get the listing. This guy doesn't even know if he's selling or renting. Like, there's more to it than that. So,
All right,
or
good.
moving.
Listen, keep us updated. So look, between Heidi's question was really good, and Kim's question was really good.
Wait, did
Margie's
someone
question
just
was
say
really
that I
good.
do cut the commission when they ask? I didn't see the whole thing. They did not ask. They just asked about the commission. So I was assuming he wanted a discount.
So we're not to go on a tangent today. We'll get to commission cutting when we get up to the commission portion of this, right?
Okay.
So look, right now we want to address, right? We built rapport with somebody. We then went into understanding what their expectations are, right? Like they've shared the expectations. And there are three things people want: price, marketing, and communication, right? And price is directly tied to marketing. So when somebody says, I just want to know how much marketing you're gonna do for my house, I'd say, great. So you want to know the exact marketing plan I'll use to get you the best price? Yes. Does that make sense, everybody? They're called level shifts. It's a sales tactic, or whatever you want to call it, to get people to be where you want them to be. The goal is to isolate the conversation to a place where you want it to be, so you and only you can win a Compass. Mike, I see you have a question.
Yes. So dealing with the potential selling client who has tried to sell twice now through different agents. It seems like her expectations, at least from her point of view, her expectations haven't necessarily been met. And what I'm trying to do is not necessarily give her more information than she needs, but kind of translate her to important things, which are, getting to a nice quieter street with her daughter and selling. She had gotten offers for a certain amount that she wants to get again. She wants to be almost guaranteed that she's going to get these offers again, but also wants to make her home contingent on finding suitable property, which is not easy to do right now. So I'm just trying to set her expectations that, okay, you want offers at this number, but you're going to be taking some buyers out of the market by making it contingent again. So I just wanted to set this expectation clearly for you. And she's continuing to give pushback. So I see this as, potentially someone who's going to be, wasting a couple months of my time trying to go contingent again. But also I still want to get her what she wants. And, I've put lease back options in front of her, and also, trying to find a temporary rental solution so she can still get that price point she wants and maybe even more. And just put these clear potential things that are going to happen in front of her so she's not disappointed again.
So what I would suggest in this is you give someone three different scenarios, right? Regardless of what they are, there's three different ways. We could put it where there's a 6-month lease back. What she's really saying is, I want to have my cake and eat it too. Right. I want limitless time to look for a property. I want to get the most money for my home. And I want someone that's just going to sit there open-ended in a market that has inflation and rising interest rates to just sit there and wait. And what you have to tell her is, would you prefer, I'm sure you'd appreciate me being very direct and honest with you and doing this. And you're going to say yes. And you're going to say, look, I'm going to go through a variety of different scenarios. And one of the scenarios is this might not be the right time for you. As a buyer purchasing the property, would you feel comfortable knowing with inflation and rising interest rates to be in an open-ended area where you can't even lock a rate in because you don't know when when you're going to be able to move. Look, a lot of times we all need to be able to share with the person that we're willing to walk away. It's okay if this is not the right time, and ask them the crazy shit that they're asking you to do. Ask them if they were a client, would they feel comfortable doing this? And they're going to say no, because behind that thing is a fear. So what I hear or what I see or what's becoming evident is most important to you is you're afraid if you sell your place, you're going to be trapped. You don't have anywhere to go and you don't want to overpay. Yes, that's really what this all is.
Yep, exactly. Thank you.
No problem. Are you guys enjoying this new format we have here as we're doing Pitch and Compass? All right, cool. Look, we're always listening and always trying to evolve what we're doing. Now, we have 3 weeks till our event in Boston. Who's coming? And who needs to come? Right? If you have not signed up, live events are the best way to build real referral networks. So if you have not come, send us an email. And this is a good opportunity to meet the other people in the group. So as you can see, there's a good amount of us going here. So if you have not decided to come, I highly encourage you to come. Between our event and the second day where we're partnering with the local Boston region, there's going to be so much networking, and it's going to be literally 2 days of fun. So everyone in this group, what I would suggest someone do is someone decide to be a leader and just pick a place and just have, and you know, everyone could buy their own drinks. You don't need to pay for everything. Just somebody lead this group and say, hey, on Monday night, let's meet for a happy hour, right? Or let's just meet at like 5 o'clock. There's a bar in the Marriott Hotel. There's another restaurant next door, but start reaching out and connecting with each other. The lobby bar at the Marriott. So we could all meet at the lobby bar at the Marriott at 5 o'clock. Someone put a list together and have a form that we could drop in. I'll drop it in both sessions, and let's get people connected. You know, one of my favorite things is watching like people that know on Zoom screens, like meet in real life. And I always use this example of, you know, Julie and Jody walking down the street in Manhattan, and the two of them met each other. And like, I feel like they really know each other. And I saw them and I've seen them for months on Zoom. And it's kind of that weird effect where you just want to run and give someone a hug and you're like, holy shit, like I've never met this person in my life before. Right. And like, that's the effect of Zoom and social media and everything else like that. So if you have not got a ticket, make sure you'll see an onslaught of comms come out this week through Compass. So I want to make sure that all of you have an opportunity to get a ticket first. Our last event did sell out, and this one will too. So listen, we're going to keep going with this conversation, right? Tuesday, I'm going to break us all up into Zoom rooms, and we're going to practice what we've been doing. We're going to practice the building rapport in 5 minutes. And we're going to want you to be critical of the other people in your group to see if they actually listen to what you were saying. So that's what I got today. Bye, everybody.